So hi and welcome to Geographics. I'm your interim and slightly less aerodynamic British host, Karl Smallwood. And today we're talking about the Bangkok Hilton, aka the Big Tiger. And credit to the original author Arnaldo Teodrani for writing this one. Drug trafficking and drug smuggling are always a bad idea, but getting involved in the drug trade in Thailand is the worst possible idea you could ever have. Even the tiniest amount of illegal substances found on your person or luggage may get you in deep trouble with law enforcement. If you are found guilty of drug-related charges, you'll be sentenced to years, if not decades, of harsh prison time. Your likely destination is Kwang Central Prison, better known here in the West as the Bangkok Hilton. Kwang Central Prison is jokingly referred to as the Bangkok Hilton by foreign ex-prisoners, but locals call it the much cooler name, the Big Tiger, a sinister nod to the way it eats its convicts alive. In Thailand, not going to tell you how to run your prison system, but just tell people if they do drugs and get caught, they're going to get sent to the Big Tiger, and don't clarify that's metaphorical. Just let the mind do the work. The institution is located on the outskirts of Thailand's capital city, Bangkok, and is close to the shores of the Chao Phraya River. First envisioned by King Rama V in the early years of the 20th century, this institution was constructed between 1927 and 1931, covering an area of 0.3 square kilometres. From the start, Bangkok was conceived as a maximum security penitentiary for the most serious offenders, mainly murderers and drug traffickers. More precisely, it houses convicts awaiting sentences of the appeals and Supreme Courts, those sentenced to terms between 25 and life, as well as death row prisoners awaiting their execution. Until 2003, the death sentence was carried out through the use of a machine gun. I'm sorry, what? Squeezed machine gun murder? What the hell? The automatic firearm was placed about 4 meters away from the person awaiting execution, then the executioner fired a single burst of 8 bullets. After 2003, this method was replaced with the more humane lethal injection. Let us know in the comments which one you prefer, being shot by exactly 8 bullets or the lethal injection. Those who are spared the needle are subjected to a daily routine of hell on earth. The most obvious visible problem is massive overcrowding. The Hilton was designed to house a population of about 3,500 prisoners, yet it routinely holds up to 8,000, crammed in extremely unsanitary, and let's get real here, just not very nice conditions, right? Doesn't sound nice. I don't even like going to the shop when it's busy. Dread to think what prison's like. Dozens of inmates have to share the same room, sleeping shoulder to shoulder on the floor, where rats and cockroaches scurry freely. Well, at least something's free there. It's not the people, but the rats and the cockroaches get free reign of the place. Cells are squalid, filthy, and badly ventilated, leaving tourists to gasp from the extreme heat and humidity. The diet is also extremely poor, being limited to a single bag of white rice per day and a few vegetables, perhaps sprinkled with maggots. So at least there's some protein there, I suppose. A debilitating fare which almost certainly will cause a bout of diarrhea, a situation made worse by the fact that prisoners within the room have to share the same squat toilet. The combination of these factors obviously leads to frequent outbreaks of infectious diseases, such as tuberculosis. Because, as if you've not got enough stuff to worry about, you've been arrested for drug trafficking, you got your bag of rice, you got some diarrhea, here's some TB. Let's go. Prior to 2013, new arrivals were also prone to suffer from sepsis, stemming from infected leg wounds. How the hell? Come on. These were caused by the widespread use of chains and shackles. It was customary, in fact, to shackle the legs of new inmates for the first 3 months after their arrival. In 2013, prison officials abolished this practice, but they kept the leg chains to the most high-profile and violent inmates, especially those awaiting the death sentence. The Big Tiger is perhaps most infamous, though, for the violent treatment meted out by warders, seemingly at random. Foreign prisoners, who form a large part of the prison's population, have reported suffering beatings simply for not understanding orders yelled in Thai. Witnesses have also reported how mentally ill and elderly prisoners were struck with batons. Very often, prison staff delegate security to groups of trusted prisoners dubbed Blue Boys, because of their uniforms, who may have even less qualms in refraining from violence. Because, it's always a good idea to give violent prisoners access to weaponry and give them power over other people. That certainly can't go wrong. Those scathing views on the conduct of correctional officers are not shared by everyone, however, so in the interest of fairness, let's provide another point of view. In 2010, Bruce Mercer, the general manager at the Brush Farm Corrective Service Academy in New South Wales, Australia, visited Bangkok. He noted how the facility appeared clean, orderly, well maintained by the Blue Boys who collaborated well with the prison guards. Mercer also reported how all inmates appeared busy working or undertaking training and vocational programs, including foreigners. Mercer would later be quoted as saying, "My observations of the inmates, including Westerners, were that they were not under any duress and appeared to be reasonably content in their workplace." It's not a workplace though, it's prison. In general, the feedback he received from convicts was mostly positive. And while he took a note of how 40 people had to share the same room and toilet, Mercer was surprised at the good quality of the medical and dental facilities. Again, I believe this. The Australian official was also impressed by the presence of a dedicated work area for Katuis, or transgender inmates, and how they were all respected by the warders. About the latter, he stated, "In general, they all appeared proud of their work, motivated, focused, and, I quote, compassionate when dealing with inmates." So how is life actually inside of Bangkok? So to better give you an idea of this, we will ask you to step into the shoes of a tourist visiting Thailand, who willingly or unwittingly falls foul of the law and has to check in at the Bangkok Hilton. We have reconstructed what might be the typical experience from articles about Western prisoners as well as official guides published by the Thai and UK government. Yeah, let's go Britain, advising foreign citizens on what to expect from Thai prison life. Most foreign citizens who end up in Bangkok are arrested on drugs-related charges, which carry particularly harsh penalties in Thailand. It's not unheard of for drug traffickers to spend more time in prison than murderers, which kind of makes sense if you think about it. A murderer has killed one person. A drug trafficker could have potentially killed tens of dozens, if not hundreds. Sometimes foreign citizens actually commit offences. In many cases, Western tourists are simply duped into becoming drug mules or have the misfortune of simply hanging around with people in possession of illegal substances. So let's pretend that you, our audience, are out in Bangkok having a whale of a time with a group of tourists you just befriended. Suddenly, the police stop the taxi you're in and take you all into custody. Turns out your new friends were drug smugglers, and you're arrested simply because you were hanging out with them. This is what happened to an American inmate interviewed in 2017 by travel blogger Rick Gazarian. Many foreigners locked up in Bangkok reported the frustration of going through the local court system, as all proceedings take place in Thai, and little effort is made to translate hearings. That is why the information pack for British prisoners arrested and imprisoned in Thailand, that's certainly a mouthful, and I say that as a small word, published by the UK government in August 2020, advises you to contact your consulate or embassy immediately. Diplomatic authorities will not support your defence, because why would they do that, let alone pay for it? That's on you. Nor investigate the alleged crime. Oh, okay, so what do they do? Script, what do they do? Oh, they will provide you with a list of trusted translators and local lawyers who speak English that you can contact and pay for. Thanks, Rishi. Nice one. As you await trial, you will almost certainly be jailed for several days, or perhaps weeks, either in a police holding cell or in Bangkok directly. Let's imagine that, unfortunately, you're sentenced to serve a particularly long term at the Hilton. As you're admitted, the warders will confiscate your money, mobile phones, and any other prohibited items on your person, such as illegal drugs. Surely that'd be the first thing to take. Improvised weapons or any other communication device. Once inside, the most reliable form of communication with the exterior will be good old-fashioned snail mail. Beware though, as prison officials will open and censor any letter you may send or receive, with the exception of correspondence with your lawyer. It's noted that letters written in any other language besides Thai will take much longer to be processed, as the guards need to take time to translate them. Another check in formality is providing a list of 10 names. These will be the only people allowed to visit you in prison, besides your lawyer and consular authorities. Visitors will normally be allowed to see you only through a barrier, but contact visits are allowed twice per year. The final stage of induction is a physical examination performed by a doctor, nurse, or prison official. This will be a good occasion to report any health concerns or chronic illnesses you may have. Official government sources reassure that, and I quote, "Inside each Thai prison, there is a medical clinic or an infirmary providing prisoners with primary health care, basic medical treatments, and health consultation." And our Australian friend mentioned earlier reported positively about the quality of medical care at Bangkok, but prison accounts beg to differ. Besides the endemic infectious disease we mentioned earlier, it appears that most medicines and treatments at Bangkok are quite costly, which takes us to another problem. Money. And I played so much Red Dead, I almost got my Dutch Vandalier on then. When I saw money, I was like, money! It seems that without a good amount of cash, it is nigh impossible to survive within the walls of the Big Tiger. If you have cash, you can buy a mattress from another inmate. Otherwise, you'll have to sleep on the bare floor, which you'll be sharing with at least 15 other sweaty men. If you can pay extra, you may purchase the right to sleep on a privileged spot on that overcrowded floor. And you might be thinking, well, surely one patch of concrete floor is as good as any other. But remember, one of those patches of floor is next to the toilets that people are pooping into with big old diarrhea bouts. You don't want that. I almost had a terrible joke there. I'm sorry. For anyone curious, it was going to be a Splash Zone joke. SeaWorld. I'm sorry. If you've got some dough in the bank though, you can enjoy a better fare than the standard bag of rice and rotten vegetables sprinkled with maggots. You can even pay other inmates to do odd jobs on your behalf. Now, as mentioned earlier, all of your money will be confiscated upon arrival. The cash will be deposited into a prison account known as the Book, which cannot hold more than 9,000 Thai bahts, or about $263 at the time this video was recorded. And you will be allowed to spend a maximum of 300 bahts, or about $8.7 per day. That is why it's important to maintain a trusted contact in the outside world to make regular deposits into your book. Once you're inside the Hilton, you'll get used to the grinding routine of prison life. Your early nights will probably be sleepless, but eventually you'll get the hang of sleeping shoulder to shoulder, head to toe with your roommates, as cockroaches and bugs roam undisturbed. The wake-up call rings at about 5:30 AM. Just shoot me at that point. After which, the guards will count the inmates by having them call out their number. Next, you'll be able to take a group shower. Up until the early 2000s, inmates only had access to bowls of dirty water, but since then, chlorinated water for showers has been introduced. So there's a positive. After the shower at 6:30 AM, you'll be allowed outside for some exercise. The practice of martial arts is very popular with, and I always mispronounce this, Muay Thai and Muay Baran, but non-Thai disciplines are also allowed. British citizen Jonathan Wheeler, released in 2012 from the Bangkok Hilton, noted that he uses spare time to practice and teach karate to other inmates, which may be a good idea to gain friends and allies within the Hilton. Yeah, I reckon it's a good idea to make friends with, karate-knowing murderers to protect you during the night. That sounds like a pretty solid time investment. Breakfast will be served at 7 AM, and at 8 AM, all inmates will be made to stand in line and sing the national anthem. At 8:30, the heads of the working units, a group of trusted prisoners, may assign you to a work detail. Working inside Bangkok is essential to survival, as it may earn you extra cash, and as we'll see later, extra benefits. Don't say extra benefits when you're talking about prison. Why? I don't like that. If you're lucky, you may be assigned a paid job in a carpentry or shoemaking workshop, or even a bakery, which would be pretty nice. Like, if anyone out there hasn't tried Thai desserts, I recommend them. They are delicious. If you're not so lucky, however, you may be asked to go to one of the working units that performs routine cleaning and cooking tasks within the prison, which are unpaid. Now, there is a discrepancy of opinion on whether foreign prisoners are actually allowed to apply for paid work or for the training and vocational programs. According to the Handbook for Foreign Prisoners in Thai Prisons, foreigners are entitled to for-profit work and vocational training. Moreover, it notes that if the vocational training implies the provision of goods and services, the prisoner will be entitled to 60% of the net profits. So, not bad. As far as educational programs are concerned, these are provided mainly to Thai nationals. However, foreigners are able to sign up for Thai language courses, a move which is highly recommended for those that go through the big... Why do I even put that in quotation marks? You want to speak the language of the people that might beat you up with the karate you just taught them. A knowledge of the local language can help navigate daily life within the walls of the Big Tiger, as well as interacting with the court system. According to the UK Handbook, with the exception of unpaid jobs, and I quote once again, generally there is no work available within Thai prisons for foreign prisoners. The UK Foreign Office advises to seek help from your consulate in any case. Prisoners will be released from their duties about 3 to 3:30 PM. So they actually work less than 9-5. There are murderers in Thailand who have shorter working hours than I do. Just going to let that sit for a second. Following which you'll be allowed to exercise some more and take another shower. Dinner will be served at 4 PM and everyone will have to return to their dormitories between 5 and 6 PM. You and your 45 roommates will enjoy some idle time until about 9 PM, at which point the lights will be turned off. This strictly regimented routine may give you the impression that life inside Bangkok is boring, yes, but essentially safe. And it is true that the spectre of extremely harsh punishment may keep most violence at bay, but the risk of assaults, beatings and killings is ever present. It is prison. There are in fact anecdotal reports of Western convicts being assaulted and beaten up. No, sorry, that's assaulted, not insulted, which would suck, but not as much as being beaten up and whacked about the head with a baton, simply for being non-Thai. Moreover, it's customary for Thai prisoners to group themselves according to their hometown of origin in a system of houses. These houses tend to share communally any gift they may receive from the outside and to offer protection to their members. This means that if you mess with a member of their group, the entire house will be upon you. Obviously, this isn't something foreigners can do because they're not from Thailand. All-out clashes between different houses are rare, but feuds may lead to the occasional bout of murder within the Hilton. It goes without saying that it's always best to keep out of trouble within the belly of the tiger. Consistent good behaviour may grant you a bevy of additional benefits, such as leave of up to 7 days, permission to attend an educational programme outside of the prison, or even early release on parole. On the other hand, if you engage in violence, break the prison's rules, or disobey an order from an official, which remember will be delivered in a language you probably won't speak, you will encounter several degrees of punishment. Officially, these go from admonishment to suspension of benefits to deprivation of visits. As attested to by former prisoners, though, you may risk corporal punishment at the hand of guards or the Blue Boys. The harshest disciplinary measure is solitary confinement for up to 1 month. The already mentioned Jonathan Wheeler describes solitary confinement as the darkest moment of the entire ordeal. On 2 separate occasions, he was confined to a tiny, dingy hole 1.5 by 2 meters in size, infested by cockroaches. In any case, if you feel you've been mistreated by the warden, you do have the right to report it. According to the Thai handbook, prisoners are allowed to submit a confidential complaint to prison authorities. However, it is specified that a complaint letter must be handwritten and signed by the complainant themselves. Anyone spot a flaw with that? The UK government information pack quoted earlier, however, urges you to inform consular staff of any mistreatment as soon as it is possible and safe to do so. This is probably the best advice, as the consulate may be able to help you navigate the complaints procedure and escalate mistreatment reports outside of prison walls. If the situation inside the Hilton becomes unbearable, you may be tempted to check out before time. Australian David McMillan enjoyed some notoriety in the British press as the only foreign convict to escape the Bangkok Hilton in August 1996. He did so thanks to a hacksaw smuggled inside of a Fortnum and Mason care package, a makeshift ladder, and an umbrella which he used to conceal his face. And for a split second, I legit thought they were going to say he just jumped over the walls with the umbrella and floated down. So I'm getting like big Prison Break vibes from this. Now, we hate to be spoil sports, but McMillan did not break free from Bangkok. Instead, he successfully evaded capture from another maximum security facility in Bangkok, Kwang Central Prison. McMillan decided to stage his daring vanishing act once he learned that he would be taken and transferred to Bangkok. Hence the confusion in reporting after the fact. In April 2000, The Guardian reported how dental nurse Judith Payne and her friend James Gilligan had escaped from Hilton earlier that year. It is not clear if Payne had been interred in a female branch of Bangkok, as the prison is, as of today, male only. And actually, the article never states the real name of the prison, simply referring to it with its nickname of the Bangkok Hilton. In any case, the article's headline being, "My Escape from Hellhole Cell in the Bangkok Hilton," Payne and Gilligan did not break out of any jail. They were held in custody for 3 weeks, sure, but after being released out on bail, they seized the opportunity and fled Thailand via an adventurous trek through the jungles and into Malaysia, which, impressive, but that's not escaping from prison. The point we're trying to make here is the only way to escape from the big tiger is to get the hell out before you even get in. Otherwise, you can check out legally. Prisoners who consistently show good behaviour may climb up the ladder of 6 categories established by prison authorities. These go from the bottom rank of extra need for improvement to the top grade of excellent. Once you reach this final grade, you may be entitled to a reduction in prison time, which according to the Thai handbook mentioned earlier can amount to, and I quote, up to 5 days per month or equal to the time spent on public work. Depending on the initial sentence, this may grant an early release. Otherwise, you may apply for a royal pardon. At the time of writing, the current monarch is King... You've got this, Karl. King Vajiralongkorn. Did I get that right? Go me. A petition can be sent to the rulers by the prisoners themselves, their relatives, or a diplomatic representative. Here, knowledge of the language is essential. A petition must be immaculately compiled with a wad of vital documents attached: a certificate of good behaviour, proof of progress in education, work or rehabilitation, a medical record in case the prisoner suffers from disabilities or chronic illness, plus copies of all relevant court records. We should specify that ad hoc royal pardons are very, very rare. It is more common for prisoners to be released wholesale on special occasions such as the King or Queen's birthday. For reference, King Vajiralongkorn blows his candles out on July 28th, while Queen Sathida celebrates on June 8th. So if you want to get arrested, aim for them. Another possible avenue is to apply for a transfer to a prison in your country of origin, provided that there is an ad hoc treaty in place with Thailand. Sure, this transfer will not grant you your freedom per se, but but it may allow you to relocate to a more familiar environment. The Handbook for Foreign Prisoners lists 38 countries with transfer treaties as of March 2020. Sadly, for our American viewers, we know you are the majority, the US is not one of them. To apply for a transfer, an inmate must have served at least 1/3 of their sentence, or 4 years, whichever is less. If the inmate is charged with the production or distribution of illegal drugs, the minimum goes to 8 years. The request must be filed by the prisoner's country via their embassy. Now, the final option for release is simply to, well, serve your entire sentence. Once you are released indefinitely from Bangkok, you'll be submitted to a deportation procedure, and you will be forbidden from re-entering Thailand. Not that you'd want to, given all the stuff you've just been through. Depending on the nature of the charge, you may even be prevented from returning to the country for a period of 1 to 10 years, or sometimes indefinitely. Now, we hope you found this overview of life at Bangkok Central Prison interesting as well as useful. And we realise in this video we've covered from the point of view of somebody held within the prison. But if you happen to be a friend or relative of someone held within the Hilton's walls, and if you have a difficulty in helping them or communicating with them, the best piece of advice that we found is to contact your local embassy or consulate. If your diplomatic representative can provide limited help, the UK Foreign Office recommends contacting charities such as Prisoners Abroad, the Prison Fellowship International, or the Salvation Army. We hope, at the very least, that one of the pieces of information we've covered today may be of help in case you ever find yourself in a sticky situation in the big tiger. On the other hand, we hope that you will never find yourself in the position of having to use this information in the first place. So thank you everyone at home for watching. This has been the Geographics on the Bangkok Prison in Thailand, and thank you to the audience at home for sticking with me through this teething process as I learn the ropes of presenting in this new format. If anyone curious, like who the hell are you? Or maybe you recognise me, I'm Karl Smallwood. I wrote for the sister site's Geographics Top 10s many years ago, and host my own YouTube channel, Fact Fiend with Karl Smallwood, which you can presumably find linked below. If you've got any feedback or suggestions about how to improve my presenting style, please let us know in the comments. Otherwise, cheers for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and have the day you deserve.